Hi, I'm Mike,
I'm Josh.
and welcome to Cayuga Bytes.
I'm Jenna,
I'm Pat.
and this is Cayuga Bytes.
So, what are your plans for Thanksgiving?
Currently, I don't have any.
Same. And neither should you, people. That's right. Follow the guidelines.
Only 10 people. And of course, after Thanksgiving, Cayuga will be all virtual for classes. So you'll see us doing this virtually.
Yep, and all facilities besides classes will still be open for students to use until the end of the semester.
That's right. You're watching
Cayuga Bytes.
Welcome, I'm Jenna Fields, and today we have a special guest.
Hi, my name is Mark-Eric Seabon.
So Mark, you're here to talk about your ventures in Japan and writing and producing your own documentary.
Yes, thank you very much for having me.
All right. What was it like making your own documentary?
It was a challenge, but it's one of those challenges that I want to do for the rest of my life. The best advice I can give anyone is always be ready for everything. No matter how much you plan, nothing's really going to go the way you want it, so be ready for anything.
As well, you, for the documentary, traveled to another country. What is that experience like living there?
It's a joy. The best thing is always be prepared. Again, be prepared. Learn as much of the language and the culture as you can before you even go, and you'll have a much easier time. Unfortunately, I went during one of the worst times we ever could go anywhere, but at the same time, don't let anything stop you. No matter what it is, just have those experiences. And that's why I'm here in Japan, to find out why 2D characters and storylines that were produced on the other side of the world came to mean so much to millions all over the globe. My name is Mark-Eric Seabon. Come with me as I travel across Japan to better understand the culture that created this unique art form and to understand how anime changed Japan and the world. Here on Anime in the Real World.
So what are your plans after Cayuga?
Keep making documentaries. I think that is going to be the rest of my life, and it's all because of the teachings I got here that I can actually see a future in documentary filmmaking, voiceover work, and just sharing what I enjoy through documentaries to more people.
So why anime as a topic?
Well, it's interesting. I chose anime for my first documentary because it's such a misunderstood subject matter. A lot of people just interpret it as drawings on the TV. But what's interesting, once you start delving into the history of anime, you see how much of the Japanese culture is ingrained into every single anime, every single manga. And although here in the West, we do put a lot of ourselves as Americans into our cartoons, but it's completely different. There, in the West, we are telling stories that are westernized, where anime is telling stories that is revealing the soul of Japan. And it's something I know a lot of people even people who love anime, they don't know of this. They don't know of the older history and how anime had changed so drastically from the turn of the century to the propaganda era, where anime was turned into a weapon towards the West, and then how it had to rebuild itself afterwards to be the global icon it is now.
What is the most important thing you've learned?
Probably the biggest thing I learned is, again, thanks to everyone here at this college, is how when everything is going wrong, things are getting shut down, I have to go further and further away to get shots, that the biggest thing I learned was I can cope with that. And that's all skills I learned here. So the ability to actually think on the fly, okay, I can't go over in this location today, maybe tomorrow at a weirder time I can get over there to get the shots I need. But being able to do that in, honestly, a split second. I even was on the train and we heard the announcement that this stop is closed because there was a COVID outbreak. Well, what do? I've got just this amount of time today to get something filmed. But because of the skills that were ingrained into me here, I was able to figure out constantly how to keep the documentary going no matter what.
All right. Where can people find your documentary if they want to check it out?
So right now it's on YouTube, so just look up Anime in the Real World, and you'll see all 7 of the original episodes, and starting the end of this year and in the beginning of next year, there will be a few bonus episodes coming up.
All right. You can check out all his future works and more coming up. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you so much for having me.
Do you play softball?
Cayuga's looking for players,
For the spring 2021 season.
so sign up. And here is Com 101 student Abby Sweet on a small school experience.
Hi there, everyone. It is Abby Sweet, and today our first topic of discussion is going to be going to a small school and everything that it entails. Growing up in a small town, I don't have a ton of interesting things about me to talk about, except for the fact that I grew up in a small town. It is one of my defining character traits, and it seemed to be the only thing I could think of to talk about today. So, I went to a school with about 50 kids in my grade from preschool to my senior year. So I grew up with the same kids my entire life. I never moved. And all of these kids knew me since I was literally just getting out of diapers. So, there's a lot to be said about that. There's a lot of growth to be had when you leave your small school. When you grow up with the same exact people your entire life, they all know you almost better than you know yourself. They know the parts of you that you don't remember, and they know the parts of you that you may not want them to remember. There's no fresh start. There's no super crazy character growth that most people have through middle school or high school, because they all have this expectation of you to be exactly what you've always been. And it gets difficult to see yourself as anything but that person. So I found that once I graduated and left my school, I started to actually realize who I was and what that meant. And I started to stop seeing myself as the same girl that I had been for the last 6 years. It's never easy to look at the people that you see every day and show them a different version of you that they haven't seen before. That can be really vulnerable and really scary. But when you go out into the real world and you face different people every day, you can show them whatever person you want, whatever version of you that you wish. And to some people who grew up in a large school where you didn't know half your grade, that may seem normal. But graduating with the same 30 kids that I've known my whole life, coming across real world experiences was kind of a shell shock. Coming out of my small town and going into the real world was very new and kind of scary at times, but I feel like going to a small school definitely prepared me a lot more for certain social situations than I would have gotten if I went to a large school. I am very good at speaking to people. I'm very good at, talking about how I'm feeling and putting my emotions into words, and that's because I had a lot of hands-on teachers and I had a lot of practice of fixing problems with people, because there was no running away when you saw anyone you had a problem with in the cafeteria every single day. So I think there's a lot of upsides to a small school as well as downsides, but I can definitely say that since I've graduated and started college and gotten a job and really moved on, I am not at all that person that I was then, and it's kind of scary to disconnect from yourself so much. I, for a while, was having a really hard time, growing, because I felt like I wasn't me anymore, but it turns out that I was me. I was just this new version that I hadn't seen before, and I hadn't really given a test drive. So I think if you can take any sort of lesson from that, it's just to really analyze where you came from and what it did to you and how it turned you into the person you are today. And if you can identify those little pieces of your childhood that really shaped you, you can help overcome any character flaws you have, and it really helps you grow a lot. I used to be not closed-minded, but I used to believe that when I thought something was right, that it was most likely right. And it's a lot easier for me now to see things and know that there's a million different perspectives out there, and that mine is not always the most important.
So, small school experience, do you know what that feels like?
No, I'm unfortunately from Auburn, so I've always grown up in big schools. How about you?
Kinda. I went to Skaneateles, so it was kind of small, kind of bigger experience, but it was still a small school experience. Com 101 student Alyssa Cheeley with an episode of The Upside.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Upside. I'm your host Alyssa Cheeley, and today I'm going to try to put a smile on your face. As we all know, this year has been less than awesome, and because of this, it is easy to feel overwhelmed and kinda blah. So, for a change of pace, I'm going to share some good news. To start us off, Sunny Skies uploaded an article this week sharing a story of a single foster dad in Ohio who adopted 5 children in order to ensure the siblings stayed together. The man adopting the children, Robert Carter, says that he spent some time in foster care himself and knows how it feels to be separated from your family, and he didn't want these kids to have to go through the same thing. The kids are extremely thankful for Carter and are excited to spend the rest of their lives with him. The Good News Network shared a bizarre story on Thursday about a couple in Oklahoma City who recently got married in a Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru. John, a customer, and Sugar, the general manager of the store, met back in 2015. Sugar shared that John would come to the window every morning and ask to see her. And after 5 years, John proposed in the parking lot. The couple agreed that there was no better place to tie the knot than the place that they spent every morning together. As the holidays get closer, Fox News shares that a food bank in Florida has set a goal to hand out 9,000 turkey dinners to families in need in time for Thanksgiving. Volunteers began handing out the frozen dinners on Saturday and have successfully given out 500 dinners a day since then. The families receiving the dinners are extremely thankful because a lot of them have not been able to work during the pandemic and were worried that they weren't going to be able to have a big dinner this year. As we wrap up our time together, I hope I was able to put a smile on your face. If not, let me leave you with this joke that I heard on Instagram. What do you call a mix between an elephant and a rhino?
Well, elephino.
That wraps it up for this week.
It's so refreshing to hear about good news right now. How about you?
You can say that again. With everything going on, finally some good news. And here's Com 101 student Nate Schreiner. I'm moving out of his house at a young age.
Hey guys, I'm Nate Schreiner, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to quote-unquote survive moving out at an early age. Well, I say early age, but I mean I don't know, anywhere less than 20 is early in my opinion, because both of my parents kind of moved out their early 20s. But I'm 18 now, and I'm freshly moved out. I moved out September 15th of this year, and I've been here for almost 2 months now. Yeah, coming up in November. And I'm just going to go over my whole experience with moving out and such, and try and sum it up as short and sweet as possible, and hopefully this will help anyone else who might be potentially moving out someday or soon. So I got asked, this whole thing started because my friend that I work with, his name's Zach English. I work with him at Doug's Fish Fry in Skaneateles. He initially brought up the idea to me, and this is the biggest thing in my opinion, is make sure you're living with someone you can tolerate. If you do have a roommate, if you live by yourself, then obviously you can do what you want. But if you have another person or a couple people to save money per se, like I did, make sure you're doing it with someone you like. And I like Zach, we both get along great, and it's just been good. And then another big thing is make sure you're financially stable enough to support yourself with moving out, because just think, you're on your own. You have to buy all your own groceries and toiletries and clothes and such. And I don't know. I worked a lot. I work at Doug's Fish Fry in Skaneateles. I'm still there. I worked a lot there, and I have enough money saved up where I can buy groceries for myself, for heck, even school supplies, or go out to eat every now and again. But I'm comfortable knowing that I can financially support myself without really going to my parents for help, which is actually a very liberating feeling once you get to that point. But another thing, now moving into the more apartment side of things and away from the social and economic aspect, is location. Now, Zach and I decided to both live in Auburn because A, it is a 5-minute walk away from Cayuga Community College, And B, we both work at Doug's Fish Fry in Skaneateles, New York. And we can both carpool, save gas, both save us some money. Like we just rock, paper, scissors and take turns every now and again. And if the need arises, my mom is a 10-minute drive away and my dad is a 15-minute drive away. So both my parents are very close by, and my parents are actually very thankful that I'm close by as well. So it all works out. And we don't have a washer and dryer, so my mom generously lets me do my laundry still at her house. So I don't have to pay money for that. I don't have to scrounge up quarters to go to the laundromat. And I think another point is also you want to, once you have the apartment, like once you secured your lease and like signed paperwork and gave the landlord a security deposit, is you should, after you've moved in and everything, is you should make the place like comfortable. Zach and I both made the place very comfortable. Like we both like video games and we both like collectibles and music and stuff. So like I brought my record player and my records, and Zach brought a lot of his video games and everything. And we put a really cool sound system in the living room. We both love to listen to music all the time. And we just made it like a place we both feel comfortable and happy in. And like a place that like we both can call like our place. Like telling people, hey, do you want to come over to my place? It's a very satisfying feeling. And also turning the key still to unlock the door after coming home from your job is it's still an amazing feeling. Being an adult, everyone kind of frowns upon it because it's like, I can't have fun, like I'm not a kid anymore. But it's still a very liberating feeling. And you can still have plenty of fun. You just have to work a little hard every now and again. But all in all, that's a couple of tips and tricks I've learned by myself since being an adult living on my own. And yeah, once again, I'm Nate Schreiner, and thank you for listening.
Do you live with your parents?
Yes, I do, and I'm planning on moving out next year, but probably not. How about you?
Same, but I'm moving out in February.
Auburn football has been delayed until spring. Pat Mahunik, here at Cayuga Bytes, reported on it. Let's hear from him.
One of the best fall activities to do in Auburn on a Friday night is to come see an Auburn Maroons football game here in Holland Stadium. Unfortunately this year, that will have to wait, as the spring has been pushed back due to COVID-19 to spring 2021. This has led a major toll on the fans, the community, the players, as well as the coaches.
I think one of the biggest things was just how we became limited in our access to our athletes, and that was right from the get-go. Obviously, we had a shutdown, and then it seemed, at the city there was shutdowns and not being able to get into the weight rooms, parks, camps. So I think initially it was just a broad-based shutdown and not having that access to the kids. And I think that's always been a hallmark of our program, is being able to work with kids, build those relationships.
It's not just coaches being affected by this pandemic, as well as seniors and team captains have been greatly affected by this and are trying to keep their team positive.
A senior, I've been a starter since my sophomore year on varsity, so I was looking forward to my senior year, but hopefully we get to play in March.
We don't know what the future may hold for Auburn football this spring, but all we can hope for is that they are able to play ball this year and have a great season. Pat Mahunik, Cayuga Bytes.
Let's read something from the latest issue of the Collegian. It says here that the chorus program at CCC is going virtual. 1 credit is earned per semester for each student enrolled in the college chorus, and participating is relatively easy. All sheet music and voice part recordings can be found digitally on Blackboard. And let's not forget that each issue of the Collegian also includes a weekly wellness service to help students during these times.
What's your plans as editor-in-chief next semester?
Well, obviously I want to improve the Collegian however I can, but I really want more students to reach out, because that's what will make the Collegian great, is more engagement from students. Whether it be politics, sports, fashion, whatever it may be, we just need more writers. So I just want to get more people involved, I guess, is my main goal.
All right. And where can they reach out to you at?
At cayugacollegian@gmail.com. Also, my personal email, mikeperry23@yahoo.com. Even though most things are virtual, which can be a pain, it's actually making it easier for you to get involved with the Collegian.
Instead of saying Happy New Year this year, you better say Jumanji to get us out of this game. Say, Jumanji, you need to get out of the game because you're stuck in it. So let's say it on Happy New Year's, and instead of saying that, you say Jumanji so we can get out of this game we've been playing since March. Happy Thanksgiving!
And a Merry Christmas.
You want to reach out to us? You can email us at cayugabytes@gmail.com. Do you like writing poetry? Well, submit your stuff to us at the Poetry Lounge. You can email us at cayugacollegian@gmail.com.
Send us your poetry.
I'm Mike.
I'm Josh.
This is Cayuga Bytes.
Goodbye.
Hi, my name is Mark Eric Seabon.
Good news.
Auburn football has been delayed until the spring. Pat Mahunik here at Cayuga Bytes reported on this. Let's hear from him.
I would say throw it back this way. I didn't like my high school.
Is that right?
Yeah. You need a darker marker.
Good news.
Yeah.
What's your take on music?
It's a listening device. I don't know. Nice nose.
I know, this is getting annoying.
When you talk, that's okay.
Alright.
Good news.
Is this enjoyment for you?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it every episode.
Why? Alright.
I never get past that point either.
Alright.
Good news.
So, small school. Hold on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
What an
so-
emotional roller coaster there.
Alright, let's go through each one. Okay.
Alright.
Good news.
Or a Cayuga Cleat. What email did you just do? Cayuga.
Also, screw the Lakers. Go Maroons.
I don't like my school, so I don't care.
Good news.
Is that right?
Yeah. You need a darker marker. He's gonna find movies he doesn't like and rant about it, and it's the best segment ever.
Pat, go watch the movie Hereditary.
I don't do horror.
I think I'll
I don't
pass
do like
on
the
that.
ones that's like really
No.
old horror movies.
That's the only horror I haven't seen. I didn't like my high school. You should watch Sharknadoes 1 through 6.
There's a reason why
Yes.
I avoid those Sharknadoes.
They're amazingly
Are they too scary for
awful.
you?
Here's Alyssa Cheeley with. Oh, I can't read that. With the
Episode-
An episode of On the Upside.
The upside? Is that what it says? Yay.
Yeah. Do you live with your mommy and daddy?
Yeah. Let's take a look at the collegiate. It stuck to the
We already did
table. Why did it stick to the table?
we-
I
Yeah,
know,
we
because they
did.
clean in here with that super sticky stuff.
Wow, that thing, I have no idea what we're talking about. Quality.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Mark.
And this is Motormouth.
So how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I actually walked here today. It's about 2 miles, but it keeps me in shape, keeps my core nice, you know. I actually got a little bit of weight that I gained, but I'm losing it back.
It shows. It's actually really amazing that walking does help so much. Even in the cold, actually in the cold, it's something better to do because it keeps you stimulated, keeps you moving, because you constantly want to get warm. I mean, I remember walking here a couple of years ago because I had to walk to school. So I actually lost 20 pounds just because it was winter and I was walking so much. I was walking over 2 miles, and it really worked. I mean, now, I grew it back, but hey, you know what? Thanksgiving's coming up. You got all the food coming in. Who cares? If you're a
There's
little chubby
nothing
right now,
wrong
keeps you warm for winter. It's
With a little
awesome.
bit of love curvature.
Exactly. And you know what? Men should be okay with having a little bit of a gut. It's just how we are. It's how we're built. I'm Siberian. Guess what? I'm hairy and I'm fat. Who cares? It's awesome.
Siberian.
Siberian,
How
yes.
did you people make your way over to America?
It took a long time because you know what? Moving in snow is very slow.
Well, the Bering Strait doesn't exist anymore.
No, so and it doesn't help that I don't know how to swim. So I don't know how I made it over here.
You
But
don't
I'm
know
here
how to
now.
swim?
I don't know how to swim. I grew up in a
How you
major
made it-
city.
How have you made it this far in life?
Yeah, living in major cities where the only rivers are miles away, and I just don't go to the swimming pool or the gym because, well, look at me, I'm fat. Of course, I don't go to the gym. Okay, I'm done.
Is that good enough for you?
Oh my lord!
COVID high five.